As they examine the area, Romano notes that the damaged space station supposedly fell into the ocean years earlier. Martins clarifies that while part of it did, another section was discovered near this region. A local man had found the tank and placed it outside his house, charging visitors to look at it. But when it broke up in the atmosphere, one of the O2 tanks was recovered near here. Robert assumes the container must be empty, but Martins explains it once held a parasitic fungus capable of adapting between species. Wearing protective suits, the group begins searching the area. They eventually locate the NASA tank and notice a dish soap and potato nearby, suggesting the man who found it may have tried to clean it. To develop an antifungal medication for astronauts. Potatoes and dish soap. The guy must have been trying to clean it. Using a microscope, Martin studies the container and finds a green substance coating it. With Robert assisting, she determines the organism survives by feeding on other living beings. As she leans closer, the substance releases a small burst of gas that startles them. Romano finds a body and alerts them to head to the roof. During the moment, none of them notice that part of the parasite has already fallen to the ground. Jesus Christ. What is it? I don't know. Soon they realize the organism has entered Martin's boot and begun digging into her foot. When they reach the roof of the building, they find several bodies scattered around with their stomachs torn open. Robert wonders why the victims gathered there. Martins explains the fungus likely controlled them, manipulating the brain of its host to force behavior that helps it reproduce. Why the hell they all climb the roofs? You told them to? Shaken by the discovery, Robert insists they leave the place. Martin seals a specimen inside a special container, and the three prepare to leave. We need to burn this place to the ground right away. Moments later, Martin suddenly notices a strange smell and asks if the others sense it. They remind her their protective suits should block any odor. Within minutes, her condition worsens, and she vomits a green substance. Hey, Rob. You okay? Inside her body, the parasite spreads and takes control. Under its influence, Dr. Martins drops the case with the sample and runs to the vehicle. She's infected! Realizing she is infected, Romano draws her weapon and orders Martins to stop. Martins nearly runs her over, but Robert pushes Romano out of the way and injures his back. Martins exits the vehicle and grabs the gun. Romano tackles her and they struggle. Martins manages to take the weapon, but instead of shooting Romano, she turns it on herself and takes her own life. Soon after, military forces arrive, recover the parasite sample, and destroy the entire site with explosives. The specimen is transported to a military defense complex in Kansas City and locked in containment. Years later, the facility is shut down, and the abandoned structure is converted into a commercial storage building. In the present day, a security guard named Travis, known as T-Cake, begins his shift at the storage facility. His supervisor tries to involve him in illegal deals, but Travis refuses because he is on parole and wants to stay out of trouble. Before leaving, the boss says he will return later to collect items he plans to sell and mentions that a new employee will be joining him. You got the new help tonight. She's on walking like check till 12. That evening, an elderly woman arrives to visit her storage unit, explaining that the day marks an anniversary for her. Travis directs her to the elevator. Inside the unit, she looks at a photograph of her late husband and briefly considers ending her life, but decides to rest instead. Keep an eye on you. Keep to moving here. Happy anniversary. Meanwhile, Travis hears a strange beeping sound, the same one his boss mentioned earlier. Checking the cameras, he notices the new employee and contacts her. She introduces herself as Naomi, though she says she cannot hear the sound at first. Moments later, they both hear it again. I'm Naomi. Meanwhile, in North Carolina, Robert receives a call from the Defense Threat Reduction Agency. Travis and Naomi search the building and trace the beeping to a spot behind a wall. After removing a frame, they realize something is hidden inside. Travis hesitates to break the wall because he could lose his job. Naomi, frustrated with a failing relationship after ignoring a call from her boyfriend, insists they open it. After some hesitation, Travis finally agrees to bring a hammer. I'm calling about the 1978 Plymouth Duster for sale. Why would we do that? I have a very curious nature. Clearly not. Robert is informed about a temperature alert coming from the old Kansas City facility and is asked to investigate. Suspecting what it means, Robert immediately requests specialized equipment to handle a biological threat. The officer says she cannot authorize it without higher approval.
I'm 73 miles from Seymour, Johnson. I can be there in 90 minutes.
Robert asks for her name. She introduces herself as Abigail. He tells her to contact a man named Gordon to secure clearance and stresses that the situation could be extremely dangerous. He insists he must receive every item on his request.
All the shit you've had to eat because you wanted to do what was right for your country.
Back at the storage building, Travis and Naomi break through the wall and discover the beeping is coming from another storage area behind it. As they search, Naomi notices several connected units and believes the source is somewhere inside them.
You want to go down and see it?
Excited, she suggests exploring further. Travis hesitates, explaining that blindly going along with other people's ideas is what once landed him in prison. Naomi insists there is nothing dangerous and keeps pushing until he finally agrees. They take the elevator down toward the hidden facility. They finally reach the tube ladder, which will take them to the area after looking around.
You coming or what? How far down do you think it goes?
I don't know. Outside, Naomi's boyfriend arrives at the building and tries calling her, but it goes to voicemail. While leaving a message apologizing, he notices movement coming from the trunk of his car and opens it.
No, you're dead. You're dead. You're supposed to be dead.
A cat that he assumed he killed jumps out with part of its face eaten away. It releases a strange substance before climbing onto a nearby antenna and forcing its head onto a sharp spike. Moments later, the cat bursts apart, spraying infected fluid onto the man and nearby animals. Meanwhile, Travis and Naomi reach the restricted room where the signal originates. Inside, they find several rats tied together by their tails and covered in fungal growths. Naomi notes the formation resembles a rat king. Disturbed, Travis says he cannot stay any longer. Naomi agrees and they leave the area.
Ah, it's a rat king.
At the same time, Robert is flying to Kansas City when Abigail calls him. She explains she could not remove his name from official records and was unable to contact Gordon because he died. The mission is now under the authority of Lieutenant Jerebeck.
Mr. Gray passed away a year and a half ago.
Jerebeck tells Robert the facility was sealed years ago and dismisses the threat. Robert argues that even a small temperature change could damage the pipes and allow the fungus to escape. Though skeptical, Jerebeck still lets Robert join the mission out of respect for Gordon. Their conversation quickly becomes tense and hostile.
Right assessment and a serve report for matches. That's all I want.
Realizing Jerebeck will not take the danger seriously, Abigail secretly calls Robert from her personal phone. Robert says the officials do not understand how dangerous the parasite is and asks her to help him work outside normal procedures. When Jerebeck approaches, Abigail pretends she is speaking with her partner until he leaves. Travis tells her to contact another agent, Romano, and pass along a list of equipment needed for the mission, stressing the importance of Item 7.
They would stop us from doing what needs to be done until it's too late, even Item 7. Especially Item 7.
Back at the storage building, Travis and Naomi exit the hidden lab and notice a deer walking around. As they stare, the animal calmly steps into the elevator. At the same time, the origin of the infection becomes clear. Years earlier, the parasite slowly expanded inside its sealed container and escaped through a small glass opening. Hours before the current events, it infected a cockroach, controlling its body and guiding it through cracks in the building until it reached the outside. Naomi's boyfriend later ran over the infected insect with his car, allowing the fungus to spread along the tire and reach the trunk where a dead cat had been left.
Where DTRA is, we got home.
Back in the present, Travis suggests they contact the Defense Threat Reduction Agency and leave immediately. They head for the stairs instead of the elevator, but the deer suddenly blocks the exit and charges at them. Naomi pulls Travis aside just before the animal violently bursts apart. Moments later, Naomi's boyfriend Nick appears looking extremely sick. He demands that Naomi open her mouth so he can vomit into it. When she refuses, he pulls out a gun and begins firing, though none of the shots hit them. The gunfire wakes the elderly woman.
Open your mouth. I want to throw up in it.
Naomi and Travis run through the storage rows and hide inside a unit. They cannot fully close the door before Nick reaches the area, so they remain silent while he searches nearby. An object falls, but Travis quickly hides it. After Nick walks away, Travis accidentally hits some equipment that makes a loud noise. He rushes to shut the door as Nick returns, trapping and breaking Nick's fingers in it. Naomi decides to contact the Defense Threat Reduction Agency for help. At the same time, Robert arrives in Kansas City, where Romano picks him up. She tells him she has gathered most of the equipment he requested except for item 7, which they must collect from her house.
Are you kidding me?
During the drive, Robert receives a call from Abigail saying someone from the storage facility has contacted the agency. She transfers the call to Naomi. Robert asks what is happening, and Naomi explains the situation inside the building. He tells her to stay calm and assures her help is on the way.
Don't let him. 40 minutes. You're gonna be fine.
While Naomi and Travis wait, they hear an engine outside. Travis believes rescuers have arrived, but it is actually their boss returning with several men to collect items he stored in the building. The boss and his crew walk through the hallway and find the remains of a dead animal on the floor. When they see the wall Travis and Naomi broke earlier, the boss uses the building's microphone system to call for Travis, angrily declaring that he is fired. He then sends his men down the elevator to get the items.
You want to load 8 TVs in the back of my truck? You got 20 minutes.
The men reach the lower level and begin removing televisions from a storage area. Meanwhile, Robert and Romano break into Romano's son's house to retrieve item 7. The young man nearly shoots them when he finds them inside, but after they explain the situation, he allows them to take the package.
Love you. Love you, Jimbo.
Back at the storage building, Travis decides to get out. Naomi hesitates at first but eventually follows him. The infected Nick, now heavily mutated, notices the men moving the equipment. Travis and Naomi try to warn them to leave, but it is too late. Nick floods the room with green fluid and seals the door, trapping the men inside as they pound on it from the other side. He then turns and begins chasing Travis and Naomi.
I'd say for sure, let's just kick back and let that happen.
But they aren't. Naomi? During the chase, the elderly woman from earlier suddenly appears and shoots Nick. His body instantly bursts apart. Hearing the gunshot, the boss pulls out his weapon and moves to investigate. Travis helps the old woman leave the building and throws away the gun before she goes.
Something wasn't right about that young man.
Outside, the man who had already taken some stolen goods drives away with the items. Inside, Travis's boss confronts Travis. Travis warns them not to step on the strange fungus spreading across the floor.
That's some dangerous shit.
Okay? Down the floor, up against the wall. At that moment, the infected men trapped in the storage unit begin pounding on the door and shouting to be released. Travis urges the boss not to open it, but the boss ignores him and orders the door unlocked.
Ironhead, what the hell you doing, man? What do you lock him in there for?
As he steps forward, the boss slips and accidentally fires his gun, grazing Travis's arm. He threatens to shoot him again unless he obeys. Travis pretends to comply but locks the unit instead. At that moment, Naomi appears with a fire hose, distracting the boss, and the two escape together.
Do it!
Naomi and Travis run outside where Robert suddenly stops them. He takes them to his car and gives them hazmat suits and a gun. Robert explains he plans to destroy the facility with a nuclear device and needs their help to eliminate the fungus.
Why is she shouting?
Gunshot next to the ear. She can't hear on the right side. Travis thinks the plan is too dangerous, but Robert says the explosion will occur underground and destroy everything within about 100 feet without spreading contamination. Their job is to carry the device to sub-level 4 and start the timer. Once activated, they will have 9 minutes to escape, while Robert stays outside to stop any infected from leaving.
He's right. You saw how fast that thing spreads.
Yeah, strap that shit on. Inside the facility, the boss forces the trapped crew to give him the key left inside the room. After unlocking the door, the smell hits him as one man tries to run, but slips on fungus and becomes infected. The boss threatens the others with his gun and makes them walk ahead of him. Moments later, one woman says she feels sick before her head suddenly bursts.
So I think we should all just get out of here.
Outside, Naomi and Travis head back into the building while Robert punctures nearby tires so no one can escape. An infected man runs out, and Abigail detects his heat signal. She warns Robert, but the infected suddenly appear behind him. Robert turns too quickly, worsening his injured back. He fires wildly and collapses after shooting the man. Meanwhile, Naomi and Travis reach the lower level and discover the fungus spreading through a broken pipe. It is growing fast and could reach the Missouri River if it continues. When they open the nuclear device, they realize the countdown has already started and only 5 minutes remain.
this job.
Outside, the infected man approaches Robert. Robert shoots him and then tries to shoot the boss, but the boss dodges. At the same moment, the device malfunctions and the countdown drops to 1 minute. The boss steps out, realizing Robert has no bullets left. The infected man suddenly moves again, forcing the boss to shoot him repeatedly. Just as the boss prepares to kill Robert, Romano arrives and shoots the boss after Robert signals her.
You were right. Their back is fine.
As Naomi and Travis try to escape, they encounter another infected woman who turns toward them and weakly asks for help. Naomi immediately shoots her. With less than a minute remaining, they reach Robert and help him away before the spreading fungus reaches him. Robert then admits he already knew the countdown had started before sending them down.
I did not think these two shitheads were gonna make it.
The three rush to an SUV and speed away. Moments later, the nuclear device detonates behind them, destroying the facility and leaving a massive crater. They barely manage to reach a safe distance beyond the blast. The next day, news reports announced that a major disaster was prevented. Robert is praised as a hero, while Jarabek faces criticism for failing to recognize the threat. Robert later recovers in a hospital where Abigail visits and thanks him for saving the world. Naomi and Travis remain together and spend some time with Naomi's 6-year-old daughter. Sometime later, an infected deer vomits the same green liquid elsewhere, to be there when needed.